So I'm about 2/3 of the way through Act 2, and I've just started to get the new version of my build online. So I wanted to sort of show you one of those battles that people consider to be quite difficult in DLC on Unfair, to be really, really tricky, but how you can, when your build's good enough, you just completely ignore the mechanics and just power on through. So as always, Cassia, my grand strategist, I'm reworking many builds, but she stays true and doesn't need to update. But I am using the new 4 swords that 1.3 added. So I've just got the Cursebringer, which adds some warp damage to our 4 swords. So I want to show off like just how hard you can steamroll thanks to these now as well. That's a lot of damage. God damn, that is a lot of damage. I've also now got the infusing staff where Cassia, when she targets allies, gives them more movement, which makes your classes even more hyper mobile, and then you have Blood Rush and so on to go on there. But as you can see, I'm already doing over 100 damage and then AoEing it out, even on Death from Above, because when you... And also they then have to take willpower saves, otherwise they can take on the effect of some Warp Burn, which then, because of Executioner, gets immediately procced. So, yeah, there's lots of damages going on here. And the thing is, as an Executioner, you are also a caster and a psyker. So even if I don't swap to the staff for the little bit of extra damage, if I just do that here, boom, huge AoE damages, just wiping everything out. I've got Heretic, Dogmatic and Iceclass all up to 2, and it is very strong having all 3 of them with the new reworked alignment system. My plan is to go full Heretic, but I'll keep the benefits of Dogmatic and Iconclast 2, which is actually very strong for my Bladedancer build and for what I'm doing with it.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
So I've reworked some of the builds a little bit, smile changes to a few of them. Some of them have some big changes, like obviously I've redone an entire damaged version of Idra. I've changed Ablard to a 2-weapon hammer build. He's still got other builds that he can do, but I obviously wanted to show off more what he could do with axes and hammers, because you can have additional attacks costing just 1 AP. So if you use either the knockback attack or even the axe special attack, you can then attack with the other one at no additional cost and no damage reductions. And I'm actually making him a push ball build here, going with Vanguard, so I get loads of additional benefits for using that. One of the other things is there's currently a bug with Get Off Me, which was meant to give you knockdown on ranged attacks, but it works on melee. So when you use that, you can then knock things around and do quite a bit of damage. Obviously, some enemies he will still struggle with because, well, weapon skill. I am fully invested into it, but yeah, he just doesn't push it as high as Bladedancer does, which gets its agility bonus to it. But he's still very good at doing parry riposte and taking damage, because he starts with heavy armor even though he doesn't have the strength requirement for it. Argenta, haven't changed her build very much, but yeah, no, I do like it. This is the one fight where you get to use a Storm Bolter before I go into Heavy Bolters, so get to enjoy taking off those couple of shots and essentially just moving her into cover because the Bladedancer is going to, on their turn, pretty much just solo this entire encounter. So what is going on here is this boss, you can only attack when he's in the bubble, and you have to sort of stand between the covers of those bunkers, but if you stand between them, they can both shoot you still. It's kind of silly. You're meant to be next to them so they can't shoot you, but then the other one shoots you and you die anyway. But why engage in all of that nonsense where you can just win in one turn, because strong builds do that. So what I'll do is we'll inflame to get that kill, we'll give ourselves our Pyromancer Iron Arm buff, and because of Inflame, we're now going to do extra warp damage. Bing bang boom, one Bladedancer just shredding that boss. It's just GG. Yeah, there's a lot of damage and a lot of sources of it all coming together very, very nicely. Death Warding obviously playing a big part in that too. And I'm sorry if you can hear bells in the background, the kittens are having the time of their lives as I play this. So one of the other things, because we can add Warp Fire on the initial hit as well as fire on criticals, there's 2 additional dots that we can now get onto enemies, so they can actually have 4, which makes makes the Bladedancer even stronger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the melee hit, mostly so I do get another death from above charge. I'm not close enough to use my heroic action, but I will use Blood Oath getting close. I could probably kill something with death from above anyway. We didn't lose enough momentum that we can't get that off, so there we go. As you can see, the damage is obscene on these death from aboves. And now we're also adding our agility modifier to it. Okay, just checking to see if there's any enemies over here. I believe all the enemies that we need to kill are over here. Because of skirmisher boots, yeah, there we go. We get procs on damage to actually get movement back. So whilst we're jumping around death from above, we can actually reposition a little bit. So having skirmisher boots and blood rush makes Bladedancer highly mobile. Remember when people were saying when the DLC launched that Bladedancer was not a mobile class? Like, oh my goodness, the absolute nonsense they were talking. Okay, so I think the only enemy left is that one A-Blood knockdown at the start. Yeah, just mwah! That's what a good build can do. Okay, I need to start the cutscene so I can show you what difficulty we're on. But yes, no, this is unfair, and this is how hard my build trivialise it. The builds will be linked below, so do feel like having a look at those and watching some other videos and some composition guides that I've got up.